or that I feel important, or they will guide you or give you some knowledge, some extent for you to pass your paper. Okay, I talked about I've already taught errors, guys. Please, you can check them on our SAM YouTube. They were uploaded errors, errors and suspense account. Today we're going to look at the beginning part of the real accounting.
Yeah, you saw it.
Okay, we're going to do the beginning part of the accounting where we look at the accounting equation. Okay, and from my discussions with you guys, I've been emphasizing the issue of the elements of the financial statements, where we find that you have an asset, expense, liability, revenue, and equity. Remember emphasizing that you must know where most of these accounts that you find in accounting statements, where they fall. Because if you determine where each falls, it's easier for you to know which one to debit and which one to credit. I can re-echo saying that for assets and expenses, any item that fall within assets and expenses, whenever they are increasing, they increase with a debit entry. And whenever they're reducing, they reduce with a credit entry. The reason being, all assets and expenses have a normal debit balance. Okay? And therefore, the opening balance will also be a debit. So the same thing for, okay, not the same thing, but the opposite for revenue stroke income, then liabilities and equity. Those three behave differently, they behave the opposite. That for them, they have a normal quality balance, and when they're increasing, we credit them, and when they're reducing, we debit them. So today I'm going to look at the accounting equation, which is whichever you phrase it, but you can either say assets are equal to liability plus owner's equity, or you can choose to say liabilities are equal to assets minus owner's equity, or you can choose to say owner's equity is equal to assets minus liabilities. It's the same thing. We're just juggling, just the math. Okay, but just to emphasize or to start and move on, I chose these few entries. Okay, going forward, if you come across or if you have any accounting statement that you have offhead that probably gave you an issue, you can raise it with me so that I can be able to help you on how we come up with the journal entries, how we solve it using an accounting equation, and as we shall see. So I'm going to talk about the accounting equation. I'm going to talk about the T accounts, and finally, okay, not finally. Then we shall also see how we balance off the T accounts. Then we shall also see how we end up having a trial balance. Okay. Then we shall also see how we can create simple statements, financial statements, say the income statement and the statement of financial position. Okay, so here we go. So I was saying the accounting equation. Okay, someone can confirm whether there's a lot of noise. Unfortunately, I'm somewhere near a factory, and that's why I can really get this service, the internet and the PC. So I can't leave this place, unfortunately. But I hope you guys can bear. So I'm moving on. So the accounting equation, of course, says assets equal to liabilities, and then plus owner's equity. Owner's equity, you can call it capital still. Owner's equity. Okay, this is the accounting equation. So this accounting equation, like I told you, it can be manipulated or it can be rearranged such that you have, for example, liability starting. If you have liability starting, you can say liabilities, just making the thing a subject. Liabilities are equal to, so in this case, the owner's equity, this one here, will be moving on the left, moving beyond the equal signs. So when it moves to the left, what you'll find there? You'll find there assets. Then because for it was positive this side, when it crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative. As equity. Okay, so I've just manipulated the first equation. So you can also make the owner's equity the subject. You must end up with assets minus liabilities. Okay, so whichever it is the correct thing, it's still correct. So how can we use these accounting statements or equations as far as our assets and liabilities or the accounting equation is concerned? So maybe to remind you, you should be familiar with what we can find under assets. For example, you should be able to know that if I have furniture, for example, if I have a motor vehicle, if I have a building, if I have land, if I have inventory, if I have trade debtors or trade receivables, if I have cash or bank, you should be able to know that all those fall under assets. Okay, and because all those fall under assets, the way they behave is the way assets behave, like I already explained in the beginning. For something with liability, you should be having an idea of which liabilities are we talking about or can be liabilities actually. So for example, about liabilities, I can talk about say bank loan. That's a liability. I hope you know that. Maybe from the definitions, we can remind ourselves what's an asset, what's a liability. An asset is a resource. It's a resource obtained by a business, of course, from past events. Okay, this resource, as a business, we expect uh, revenue to flow to the business, or what we call benefits, to flow to the business. That's what we call an asset. An asset is a resource uh, in a business, okay, acquired from past events, okay, from which we expect, or from which benefits should flow to the business. That's an asset. Okay, with the liability, it's the opposite. The liability is more of it's an obligation. Okay, see, an obligation to the business. Okay, that happens to the business, of course, due to it arose from the past events. Okay, um, from which or to which benefits will flow away from the what? From the business. In this case, the business is paying off. That's the liability. Owner's equity, I'm not sure with the definition, but it's more of a gap, or it's more of a feeling, it's more of a residual. It's a residue from when you have assets and deduct liabilities. That's what we call owner's equity. So those are some of the definitions I can think of or I can remember. Okay. So so I'm going to use this information that I have here. There are a few statements, and they were intentional, but they're just here to help us understand or appreciate the accounting equation and any other information that we should be covering today. Okay. So start with the accounting equation. So when you read the statement, now for example, here we're saying Karim Limited bought furniture worth 20 million cash. Now that statement, it's an accounting statement. It's supposed to identify, first of all, two accounts that are involved. Okay, by two accounts I mean, okay, in this case, for example, we shall have the furniture account and the cash account. You should be able to identify those two, okay, from a statement. Now, you ask yourself, where do these accounts fall, or which elements are they? I mean, are they expenses? Are they assets? Are they liabilities? Are they revenue? Now, you agree with me that furniture and cash, all these are assets. They fall under assets. The only difference here is that one asset is increasing and another is reducing. I hope we can agree on that. Okay. So, what else? So briefly, that is it. So if they told you to come and put it in the accounting equation, allow me to move this one down. We're just showing you how it comes about. But let me use this one. So, okay. What can how can I put it? So for the asset, like I've told you, furniture and cash are both under assets. So we're saying one asset, which is furniture, when you buy an asset, it increases, right? But even cash suffers in the same way. That when you spend money buying furniture, the cash will reduce. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have your asset increasing and again reducing. You get. So for example, I will say we have furniture. Okay. Furniture is contributing 20 million when you buy 20 million. Okay, of course this side you have nothing for now, and you have nothing for now. Okay, however, in the same transaction, we know that, sorry, how can I put it? Okay. Okay, in the same transaction, we have that we have cash. Okay, but this time, what is cash doing to our equation? Cash was being reduced. Okay, so this is how it would look like. So at the end of the day, when you come down here, you find that your assets are zero still, and liabilities are still zero, and your equity is still zero. I don't know why someone is asking a question. Okay, guys, kindly mute if you're joining through. Okay. So briefly, I've explained how that first statement would look like. That, yes, what is involved here is statement you're saying we have the furniture account and the cash account, and I've told you how are they classified. They all fall under assets. The only difference here is that one is increasing and another is reducing. When you buy furniture, okay, when you buy furniture, furniture is increasing in your business, okay, but remember you're spending money still, okay. When you use your cash to buy furniture, the cash will not remain the same. The cash will reduce in the same way. So that's how you end up having something like this, that you have your assets increasing at the same time reducing with the same amount. So net effect is zero. Nothing has affected the liabilities, nothing has affected the equity. So that is part A. I'm going to part B and we see how it also feel. Now, part B or statement B says the debtors of the company, amounting to 65 million settled part of their indebtedness by a check worth 40 million. Now, with such an accounting statement, like I've told you, the first thing you have to identify are the accounts that fall within. Okay, so here, of course, they have clearly told us that you have the debtors account, okay, or what they call the trade debtors, or sometimes they're called the trade receivables account, at least currently. Okay, then what else have they talked about? They've talked about the check. The check, that's the bank account. Okay, so you ask yourself, trade debtors and bank, where do they fall? Where do these items fall? So like you can see clearly, these items fall under assets. Okay, I already talked about it, under assets. So the way they behave is when they're increasing, we debit. When they're reducing, we credit. Okay. So what do we do with this statement? So what we can see here is clearly that when a debtor pays money, we shall receive the money, of course. So we shall debit cash. In this case, it's bank. We shall debit bank with the 40 million, okay, what we have received, and reduce the trade debtors account by 40 million still, okay, to complete the double entry. So how it reflects here is the same way because they are both assets, okay, because they are both assets. We are saying we have trade debtors. Allow me just say debtors. You have debtors account. It is reducing by 40,000 because they are paying. It's 40,000, 40 million. It's 40 million. Okay, because they are paying. Then we have our bank account. For it, it is increasing. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. So what do you have under liabilities? Nothing was affected. What do you have under equity? Nothing was affected. So at the end of the day, the net here is zero. Okay, under our assets it is zero. Then of course our liabilities also is equals to zero. Then plus equity equals to zero. So that's how the accounting equation works out or feels. So I don't know if there are any questions so far. Otherwise, I was intending to stop there for what? For the accounting equation. Then we'll look at the T account. Any questions? Okay. I'm just trying to share an idea, okay, how you do it. but I don't intend to cover like the whole question because of time and everything involved. So I hope we are fine how we deal with the accounting equation. Maybe I can look out for a liability maybe to give you a feel. Let's see part C what it says. Part C says the company acquired a 5-year loan of 5 million from the Crane Bank. Okay, so you're acquiring a loan. Of course, when you acquire a loan, what do you get in return? It is money, right? They give you money, then you promise to make a payment. So you recognize a liability in form of a loan, 5 million, and also get the money. Or in other words, your bank account will increase with the 5 million. So here, as you can see, the bank loan is a liability. Okay, so the way it behaves, you are going to see how it behaves. Then for an asset, the bank is an asset. So we all know that when assets are increasing, we debit. Okay. So I'm saying when you get a bank loan, the money will be deposited to your bank account. Okay. But you recognize a liability of 5 million because you're going to make this payment later. So how I come about here, I'll come to my assets. Down here. Okay. So my assets, that's my bank account. Okay. My bank account is increasing by 5 million. Okay, those are our assets. Then liability, like I've told you, have a 5-year loan. So it is increasing. Okay. So we're saying loan or bank loan. So 5 million. Do you have anything to do with equity? No, there's nothing. At the end of the day, accounting equation remain the same. But you have 5 million on the other side of the equation, and you have 5 million on this side of the equal signs. So briefly, guys, that is the accounting equation. I'm going to look at T accounts, what we call ledgers, or sometimes they're called what are they called? Okay, let me just stick those two. Okay, a ledger or T accounts. Now with the T accounts, remember from our cash book discussion that you have a T account or you have a T, you have a horizontal line. Okay, I'm going to draw it and we see how it looks like. So I will start a table of just that T account. This is how a T account will look like. Okay, the horizontal line here on top. Okay, then the line that divides in between. So you find that this side you have a debit. Okay, this is a T account. T account. Okay, then on this side you have a credit. Okay, this is how it looks like. That you're saying when you put items this side, that is you're debiting the account. When you put items this side, then you're crediting the account. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the T accounts using this particular information, and we see how we deal with that. So okay, so we're going to look at okay. Specifically here you have furniture. You have the furniture account and you have the cash account. Okay, so when I come and do the T account for the furniture, just change the name here. Furniture account. That's how the T will look like. Okay. Then which other account is affected with this transaction? Then there's cash account. You can also draw the cash account. Just a moment. Okay. So this is my cash account. Okay, so how we pass them, how we post them. Okay, maybe to remind you, we also have what you call journals. Journals, that's what I've been just saying. Where you have an account, then you debit and credit accordingly. I've told you how the debits come about and the credits. Now perhaps I can still draft the journals for this so that you guys can just have a feel. So allow me scroll this down, so that you have journals here. If they don't ask for journals, you don't have to draw them. Okay? If you don't ask for them, you don't have to draw them, or you don't have to write them. But for purposes of us to understand this whole thing, allow me draft those journals. We have journals. Journals basically, you're just saying do the entries. That's what you're saying. You're just saying, in this case, we agree the accounts that we have here include furniture. For the first accounting statement, we have furniture and cash account. We all agree on that. So the question is, which one is increasing and which one is reducing? Okay, so guys, I hope you're keen that I'm saying increasing and reducing, and I'm not saying receiving and giving. Okay, is he saying something? Please mute. Okay, so when you see here, when you buy furniture, if you go to your office, you'll find there more furniture. Okay, because you're bored, they definitely have to increase. So when they increase, we debit because furniture is an asset account. I hope we would agree on that. Now, cash. When you spend money while buying stuff, your cash will not remain the same. It can only reduce. So when cash reduces, you're saying an asset is reducing. Therefore, we credit. So that's what they are looking for. All those are the journals. So here you're debiting the furniture account because it is increasing, and you're crediting the asset account because it's reducing. How much? 20 million. So you can present it in this way, or you can present it in a tabular form. With the tabular form, I still have to show you that what happens is that you have let me just do this. You have two columns. You have the debit side, you have the credit. Okay, so what happens is you put here your account. Say in this case is furniture, and you also have cash. So if you're debiting furniture, you come under the debit column and you put the amount on the line of furniture. Okay, if you're crediting cash like we're doing, you go in the column of credit on the line or on the row of cash and you put the amount. So by doing a table or doing this, the same thing. I hope we're together on that. So I'm going to move on. So I'm saying you can do either of the two. You can either do this one on top or this one, tabular form. The same thing. So we go to part B. Part B says, we already talked about all these things, so I will not waste much time on it. So here we all know that you're supposed to credit trade debtors account. Trade debtors account. Guys, please mute. It's how much? 40 million. It's how much? It's the money that the debtors paid. They didn't pay the 65 million that they were owing us. No. But they paid only 40 million of the 65. So you only take the money they paid. So because they paid, that means you're receiving money, but it's in form of bank or check. Therefore, it's bank account involved. So we're saying 40 million. So as you can observe, or as you're aware, that these two are asset accounts. Both of them are asset accounts. Now we all know that when assets are increasing, we debit. When they're reducing, we credit. So your data is reduced because every time your data pays you money, it means that they don't owe you a lot of money anymore. Hence reducing. That's the credit. With the bank, I think that's obvious. Then we can move on. Okay, part C says the company acquired a 5-year loan of 5 million. I think I already talked about this one also. So in the same way, okay, maybe if I may show this one in a tabular form. Here, same thing. Always bring the debit entries first. So here you first bring the bank account. Okay, how much was involved is 40 million. Okay, then what's the other account? The other account is trade payable, trade debtors, sorry. Trade debtors, or we call it trade receivables. How much is it? 40 million. Go to the columns, the credit side, the credit column, and put the amount. So like I've told you, these things mean the same. The tabular form and what I've just written, they mean the same. So you do one of the two that you're comfortable with. Then where is parts here? We're saying the company acquired a 5-year loan of 5 million from Point Bank. So a loan, we all know that when you get a loan from the business, I mean from a bank, they will give you money. That's for sure. Therefore, you're going to debit your bank account or cash, whatever they will give you. If they give you cash, or if they deposit the money on your bank account, then accordingly, you use whatever account, whether it's bank or cash. Then you recognize a liability of the loan, because at the end of the day, once 5 years are done, you're supposed to pay back this principal, this 5 million. Okay, so that's why we recognize that liability or that loan. So therefore, I will credit the bank loan account. Why am I crediting the bank loan account? Like I've told you, this is a liability account. Is your liability increasing? Yes, because at the end of the day, you received 5 million in loan. Okay, this money, you're going to be paying it much later. So your liabilities are increasing with 5 million. Okay, so when liabilities are increasing, like I already told you, for them they behave the opposite of the assets, that they increase with the credit entry. It's the credit. Then what do we debit? We debit the bank account. That is if the bank just wires the money in your bank account. If it gives you cash, then you will debit what? The cash account. So here I'm going to assume it's the money was deposited in your bank account. So how much? 5 million. Okay, a bank account is an asset account. So if money is increasing there, then we're debiting it. As simple as that. Okay, those are journal entries. For you to do your T accounts properly, you need to be knowing these journal entries. You need to be knowing that for each an accounting statement, you have 2 accounts involved, and one is debited and another is credited. Okay, and this is what I'm showing you here. Okay, then last, okay, not last. Let's go to part D. Part D, it says we purchased goods on credit from Spear Motors worth 20 million. We purchased goods. When you purchase goods, we all know that what is involved here is what we call a purchases account. Okay, the purchases account is more of a cost account and more of an expense account. So the way it behaves is that it increases the debit entry, and okay, they will never reduce really. Purchases will never reduce. Okay, so it increases the debit entry, and accordingly, here they're saying we bought goods on credit. So when you buy on credit, we all know that you're saying you're going to be paying in future. Anytime you say you're going to be paying in future, that's a liability to the business. Okay. I have 10 minutes left on this link, so I hope maybe I will talk about journals only for now. Then I'll open another link to talk about the T accounts, how we draw them and balance them off. Then I also talk about how we can prepare a few financial statements. Then we stop there for today. Okay, so going on. So part D, like I already told you, that you're going to debit the purchases account. Okay, how much was involved? It was 20 million. What do I credit? If you had bought on cash, if you received the goods and paid immediately, you would have credited your cash account. But because you're saying you're going to pay in future, I've told you to recognize a liability, and that liability is called trade payables account. Okay, or sometimes you guys call it trade creditors account or the creditors account. Just okay, so the same thing. So 20 million. So why am I crediting my trade payables? Like I've told you, your creditors are increasing. Every time they give you goods on credit and you're not paying, their balances will always be increasing. And this balance, you're supposed to clear it in future. Once there's anything like you're going to pay, that's what they call a liability. Okay? And I've already told you that liabilities, the way they behave is the opposite of an asset. That they have a credit entry, a credit balance, okay? And therefore, when they're increasing, they increase the credit entry, and when they're reducing, they reduce the debit entry. Okay, I've oversaid that statement. I think I'll not say it again. Now we can go to part E. Okay, part E says a cash payment of 10 million was made to Spear Motors. Okay, okay, maybe to remind you guys, we have what we call personal accounts and impersonal accounts. Okay, personal accounts, this is where you see something like Spear Motors. Okay, they are personal accounts. They have their unique name. They are specific. Okay, if for example they said you bought goods from Katabazi, okay, worth 20 million. Katabazi, because it's a unique name and specific, it qualifies to be a personal account. So you'll find that in some books they will say here, for example, instead of saying, I can bring it back here. Instead of saying trade payables, you'll find here they're saying Spear Motors account. Okay, a trade payables is an impersonal account. It's a general account. Takes all the creditors. Any person from whom you buy goods on credit falls under what? Trade payables account. It's not specific. Okay, but now here, when you're given a name, like here it is Spear Motors, that's a personal account. You can choose to say, we call it Spear Motors account. Okay, but still, I will not lose my mark if I use the trade payables account. The same thing. Okay, now I was saying now, going back to part E, that a cash payment of 10 million was made to Spear Motors. So here clearly you're saying you're paying your supplier, you're paying your creditor. So if you're paying your creditor, that means the money that you would have that he's demanding you will reduce. So anytime your liability reduces, we shall do what? We shall debit. Okay. So so I can come here and say I'm going to debit my trade payables account. Okay, how much? It was only 10 million that we paid them. Then what to reduce? Of course, it's the mode of payment. If you use the cash, your cash account or balance will reduce. So we use the cash. So I will call it here cash account. How much? 10 million. Okay. And by that I'm done with part E. So by the way, with these statements, you can choose to always choose the easiest bit first. For example, now here we are saying you have the cash account and you have the trade payables account or the creditors account or Spear Motors account. Okay, they are the same. So we're saying now you ask yourself which one am I to debit, which one am I to credit. You can go with the easiest one, which is cash, the cash account. You know that cash account, if it is reducing, okay, if it's reducing, I will credit. If it is increasing, I will debit. So you begin with that. So because you're making a payment, of course it will reduce. So you credit cash, like we have done here, credit cash, and then the debit automatically goes to the other account, which is the trade payables, or like we have called it, Spear Motors, or creditors account. So I thought I should share with you on that. Then F, the company raised more capital worth 50 million cash by issue of shares. Okay, so here our capital is increasing and it is cash. So the accounts involved here, they are straight. We have the capital account and the cash account. Capital, like I already told you, it behaves like liabilities, just like income and revenues. They behave the same way. That when they're increasing, we shall credit. When they're reducing, we debit. So you just come and do the needful. You can choose to begin with a debit or a credit entry, whichever you're comfortable with. So if I begin with the credit, for example, I'm saying this is the capital account. Okay, then I will debit my cash account. Every time you bring money into the business, okay, in form of capital, your money will always increase, just like your capital will always increase. Okay, so here it is 50 million. So come and put 50 million amount. So guys, as easy as that. Maybe if there are any questions, we are left with 3 minutes on the link. So please raise any questions on these debits and credits. Then I will issue a new link immediately. Okay, for actually it's the same link. If you don't mind, you can just join the same link. So I was saying, yes, I'm going to issue a new link for the other part. We're going to look at the key accounts. We see how we use these journals or these these entries in the T accounts. We learn how to balance them off, and we use them to prepare a trial balance. Okay. Then from a trial balance, we shall prepare a statement of financial position and a statement of profit or loss. Okay. Otherwise, if there are any questions, please feel free to raise them now.
Statement, this one of capital, we credit capital, then we debit cash.
Okay. This last statement is clear. It says the company raised more capital, worth 50 million cash, by issue of shares. So there are many ways we obtain capital. Now, for example, for a sole proprietorship, you find that the owner of the business will just bring money, either from his salary or from elsewhere, and injects the money into the business. Okay, but for company accounts or companies that are limited, we normally raise capital through issue of shares, and any other. Maybe you can also which other a bonus issue. A bonus issue is no capital, but a rights issue. Okay, you can obtain capital. So once of course once your capital increases, like I already explained, a capital account has a credit entry or a credit balance. So whenever it's increasing, it increases the credit entry. So every time your capital increases in your business, we shall always credit. Now, in this case, they used cash. They brought in cash into the business in form of capital. So cash, because you have received the money, okay, your cash is increasing, and remember it's an asset account. You shall only debit. So I hope I've explained that. That the accounts that are involved here is the capital account and the cash account. That's for the fact. Because the capital that was coming in came in form of cash. So because cash is increasing, we shall always debit because it's an asset. And because capital is still increasing, we shall credit it because it has a credit entry. Like I already told you, with income, liabilities, and capital, they behave the same way. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you.